Welcome to the Yummy Mummy podcast, where you will learn brand new and shockingly different tools to lose weight for the last time. And now, here's your host, certified life and weight loss coach, Laura Conley.
Oh, hey, babes. What is up? We're going to do a live with the one and only Pippa. And she's going to come. She's going to join. And we're going to talk about her experience with losing weight for the last time and why she's actually happy that she gained weight in the first place. Sometimes it's more fun to hear the answers from the Yum Mums themselves, right? Because they're just like you. Oh, yay! How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm wearing my homage to Laura headband.
Oh my God. Do you know that one time the Yummy Mummies all got together behind my back and surprised me with like a knotted headband? They came on and I was like, how come everyone has a headband? And they were like, they thought it was the funniest joke. I mean, it was the funniest. It was so cute. But yes, it was an homage. I love it. Okay, so Pippa, tell us a little bit about what your experience was like in terms of signing up, because I think that's really one of the biggest barriers for people. Like, they want to lose weight for the last time. They really want to do it, but they don't believe that they can really do it, or they feel like it's really expensive, or are they going to have enough time? So just talk us through your decision-making process.
I feel like it was an impulse, but I remember you saying to me at the time when I joined up, no, this was strategic. And you're right. Of course, you're always right. But it's not a cult.
How about that?
But you are always right. But I had heard you on a parenting podcast, actually. I hadn't been searching for weight loss stuff, but like I heard you and it chimed with a sort of journey I was on with parenting, and it sort of chimed with a lot of that. And that was a few months before I signed up, and I just for some reason kept thinking of like what I'd heard and what you'd said about it's possible to love yourself but also weigh what you want to weigh, and this whole idea of being aware of your thoughts and being kind and all of that. It spoke to something, and I sort of just kept coming back and revisiting the podcast and kind of thinking about it. And then I saw that you were opening the experience, and I honestly at that point I didn't actually know that much about it. I just sort of had this feeling like it might be for me, and so I listened to a few more podcasts and tried, like, for a couple of weeks I sort of followed some of the tools that you'd been teaching on podcast episodes and really liked it. But then I was like, oh, I can just use the podcast. Well, I don't need to do the experience. I don't need to do the 5,000. Anyway, and I just kept coming back to it. And in the end, I messaged you and was like, hey, firstly, can I do this from England? And you were like, yes, of course. And what would it entail? I've had a really busy period coming up, so I was like, oh, I don't know if I can commit to it. A big barrier for me in the past has been like, I feel like weight loss is this huge mountain, this huge battle, so I need to be like ready. I need to have energy for it. I need to be like, everything else needs to be sorted so I can focus, like, I needed to be like in the zone, right?
Ooh, yeah.
So it was a lot of that, and then I decided in the end, I was like, no, I want to do this. I need to do this. The place I wasn't happy. Like, in the end, I just sort of knew this was the right thing to do, but the money was a real barrier, right? And in the end, what swung it was I worked out what it would cost me to do like a personal trainer for 6 months, or for a therapist for 6 months, or for all of the things that I thought actually the Yummy Mummy would give me. And it was so much more expensive to do all of those other things, effectively try and build my own healing process. I was like, well, why would I do that? I mean, it was really terrifying to drop this huge chunk of money. But what got me over the line was the guarantee. That if it doesn't work, I can get my money back. I was terrified that I'd be really enthusiastic and I would quit because I'm really boom and bust. I go for things really hard and then I run out of like motivation. But I was like, no, the money back guarantee will keep me in it, because I will know that, because then I'll be able to get my money back if I do everything, and I'll stay with it. And so I wanted it. And so, that's what got me over the line. And I signed up and I was utterly terrified, but it's been amazing, and I'm so glad I did it.
I love that. Like, I mean, I don't love that you were terrified. I love that you're talking about that you were terrified, because I think that a lot of people think that it's going to feel really good to sign up. And it can feel a little good, but it can also feel really anxiety producing, and that's normal. So I love that you're normalizing that. It's so great. And I think it's so true. If you actually do the math, you're going to spend the money anyways. It's just going to be in tiny little chunks, not just one big chunk. I mean, we do have a payment plan now, but you know, it makes sense to pay up front if you can, right? And I think that if you do that math, it's looking back at you on the page and it's like, well, yeah, duh. And you're going to spend the money on things that don't have a guarantee and are probably just more of the same, right? The things that you've already done. Not to poo-poo anything, but I really think that in order to lose weight for the last time, it has to be a new and different approach. It can't just be like the nutritionist and the trainer. We've all done that in so many different ways.
For me as well, it was like I mean, there's a question about whether or not you want to spend that much money to lose weight.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, like a lot of people, I would have spent the money to lose weight, but I also knew that this was going to get a return, not just on losing weight, but on how I felt about myself. I knew that this was going to help me in so much more than just the number on the scale decreasing. I knew this was going to help me grow and help me heal other stuff. I didn't know what at the time, but I knew that I'd heard other people talk about, you know, all the stuff they've gotten. And so I was like, okay, so what would I pay to lose weight? What would I pay to have, like, I don't know, therapy that would help me feel better about myself? What would I pay for? And it was like, you know, it's like $20,000 for all of those different things that actually you get just from this. So when you think about it like that, it's crazy cheap.
So tell me your experience, because we were talking a little bit about this in email. Like, tell me your experience in terms of coming into the community. I know that can be a hesitation for a lot of people. They're like, oh God, like, I don't want to like air my dirty laundry. And you felt the same way, but also coming into a group that is primarily Americans. Like, you know, we get our Brit, and then we'll get like someone from Germany, or we'll get somebody from Mexico, we'll get somebody from Canada once in a while. But just tell us a little bit about that and what it's like on the other side.
Yeah, I had tried a little bit of like group stuff on other platforms and hated it, like really hated it. Like, it was annoying. It was just people like popping up asking like annoying questions. And you just, sorry, that sounds really judgy, but it was like, you didn't feel like you were in it together. It was just more traffic and more bombarding you with stuff that didn't feel like it had anything to do with you, really. And so I was really nervous that this was just going to be like, well, I'm paying for this coaching, but all these other people get to have you as well. Why can't I just like have you to myself? And then also, like, you know, I'm British, we can be a bit reserved. I was like, are they going to get me? Am I going to just be like this weird repressed person over there with all the Americans being like really like, woo, you know? And so I was like, oh God, is this just going to be really awful? But it's been like one of my favorite things about this whole thing. You know, I had no idea actually how much I would love the people that I'm doing this with. I mean, we're halfway through now, and I really feel like, it's crazy. I've never met these women, but I feel like we know so much about each other. And the process of, unlike the other groups where you never really got to know them and know what was going on and share the journey, you know, I really feel like we're like in this together, and I'm so grateful for it. And it's so powerful.
That is so awesome. Okay, so talk to us. You also mentioned, you guys, Pippa had all these great ideas. I'm like, she's doing my job for me. So tell us a little bit about like why you're almost grateful to have, like, have to might not be the right phrase, but the opportunity to go through this journey.
This was a thought I had yesterday, actually. I was thinking back to before I signed up, and I was beating myself up, you know, regularly. I was deep in shame about where I got to with my body. I really spoke to myself so unkindly. I would, you know, you're ugly, you're disgusting. It was, you know, it was really, really cruel, actually, the way that I was talking to myself. And I hated it. And I would avoid reflections, and I would avoid people, actually, that I hadn't seen for a long time that knew me when I was at a lower weight, because I was so ashamed. I was thinking back to that yesterday and thinking, I never thought I would say this, but I'm so grateful, actually, that I got to that weight. And I'm really grateful for my past self for living with that and moving through it, because it's brought me to this experience. If I hadn't needed to lose the weight, I wouldn't have signed up, and I wouldn't have had this opportunity to heal so much that was underneath all the reasons that I'd gained the weight and that I was struggling to lose it, and the reasons that I'd yo-yoed. And that is so much richer actually than the number on the scale. It's genuinely incredible, and I am so grateful that I got to a place where I needed to do that, because if I hadn't needed to lose weight, I'd still have all of that underlying stuff holding me back. So
yeah, that is why I'm so against a band-aid solution, like a lot of these weight loss drugs that are getting really popular right now. I think they do have a purpose in the world, but in terms of losing weight for the last time and healing your relationship with yourself and food, it's just not going to do it. And I've had the same experience. I'm so grateful. And that's why I say to my clients, I'm like, yeah, part of me does just want to give you guys a magic pill and then poof, you're done. But most of me does not, because then you miss out on the opportunity of everything you just talked about, really healing your relationship with yourself, liking the skin you're in, liking your life, enjoying being in your body. I can't think of a greater gift. So thank God that we've had this opportunity. And that's why I say, even if I did have a magic pill, I wouldn't want to give it to you, because then you lose.
For me, losing weight, I've always thought about it as this massive struggle, but even more than the losing weight, I was really afraid that I couldn't keep it off. It was the permanence. And I just can't imagine, so what, you're going to take a pill forever? How is it going to be something that you can keep forever? It's such a gift.
Yeah, because nobody can take this work away from you.
I think that's exactly it. Yeah.
So how do you feel now? You said a little bit about, you were really cruel to yourself and it was really hard before. How are you feeling now?
It's been tricky for me to get to a place where I understand what people say when they say, well, how can you give yourself comfort? How can you really care for yourself? How can you give yourself connection? And I'm like, what does that even mean? What are
you people talking about, you weirdos?
Yeah, I've always been in the past somebody who needs external validation. I've always had to look outside of me to make sure it's okay and to know that I'm worthy and all of that. And I am starting to get that from myself. I'm starting to realize that I am my own safe space. I have my back. I believe in myself for the first time. It's amazing.
So amazing. People always say that, right? They're like, well, I can't do the yummy mummy because I don't believe in myself. I don't believe I can do it. I'm like, no, that's literally why you do the yummy mummy. So you can learn to believe in yourself. That's literally the point. Yeah, I think that is the most priceless gift you can give yourself. And just to normalize it, I mean, you are talking to the gold star sticker queen. I love an accolade. I love an external validation. I love a trophy. I love an A+, all day long. And that's fine. It has its place, but we have to have we don't have to, but it's way better when we have the foundation of loving ourselves unconditionally. And that's what makes this weight loss permanent, really, in the end. Yeah. So what would you tell somebody who was in your shoes, say 4 or 6 months ago? Somebody's in the shoes that you were in 4 to 6 months ago, and they don't believe in themselves because they've tried so many things, or they just don't believe. What would you tell them, or what would you even tell your past self? What kind of advice do you have?
I mean, I would say just do it, to be honest. Just do it. Just you don't have to believe for now. It'll come. It'll come. You can be terrified, you can be all those things, do it anyway. And something that you've said in other contexts, really, what's the alternative? If you're not happy, then why don't you try changing that? And if it doesn't work, and if you don't lose the weight, you can have your money back. There's the guarantee. Yeah. So, I mean, that's literally the thought process that got me over the line. But I would say you use the phrase borrow your belief a lot. And that's kind of it. Just don't worry if you don't believe.
Just do it. Yeah. Yeah.
You will. You will. If I do, anyone can, honestly. I'm the most white knuckler around, and if I can get there, honestly.
Oh my God, you're totally crushing it, Pippa. How much weight have you lost?
So it's 3 months in, I've lost 30 pounds so far.
That is
Well, just
Makes
over actually. So I'm about halfway to where I want to go. But yeah, but I don't care actually about the number anymore. Like I mean, obviously I care, but like it's not.
You're not attached. You're not
I'm
attached.
not.
You're not this, like you just said. You're not this anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, because you have the deep trust and the knowing that it's happening, and we don't have to be so psychotic and like grippy and, like you were saying, white knuckly.
Yeah, like I'm where I want to be in terms of like my experience with my thoughts and with myself. Like I'm living in the way that me in 30 pounds time is going to live. So I've already arrived at where I actually want to feel. And ultimately, isn't that the point? Like we want to lose weight because we want to have the life and the experience that we want. And if you can already give yourself this experience, the weight will follow. That's where I feel like I'm at, which is really cool.
That is so cool, Pippa. That is so awesome. Really, congratulations. Like, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you to you. Like, I mean,
we did this, yes, but like you did this, like so awesome. I think that's
and there's still 3 months to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty halfway. Right?
I know there's so much more goodness coming down the line for you too, which is like, I just am so excited.
No, I'm really excited. But you were asking me about the group. Like, I love the calls and I love like it's exciting. And the homework, like I was like, oh God, it's going to be like loads of admin. It's going to be loads of work. Can I fit it in? I am excited to do this. Like I'm into it.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, my husband was even like, you should like come up with another name besides homework, because your people are excited to do it. And like, homework can be triggering for some people. I'm like, he was in school for forever, so maybe that's why. But okay, so yeah, so you really love like just the program itself, really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of something that I don't love about it.
No, don't think of anything you don't love.
There isn't. I say that just to say, like, I genuinely, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, there's highs and lows, but when you have the lows and you're struggling with something, like you guys like on tap, you can ask and you can ask for help, and everybody else in the group supports you, and there's a kind of hive mind, and you can see what's working for other people, and everyone's really vulnerable with each other, and so you really feel like, you know, you can genuinely get help from other people. So even
and I mean, you guys are going to have challenges, right? Like you want the challenges to come up. Like I actually was just going to ask you about that. Like you almost didn't do this because you were/are like in a busy season of your life, right? From you, I mean, you have a big job, you have a little kid, like you have a full plate. Like I want you guys to do it when you have full plates, because we're going to have full plates for the rest of our lives. So you need to hone the tools and learn the tools and apply the tools when you're in your life. Like you can't be in a pristine container. It won't work, or it will, and then you'll go into your regular life and it'll all backfire. So talk to me a little bit about you doing this while like humaning is happening, while life's happening.
When I lost weight for the second to last time, it was lockdown. I'm a lawyer, and in America you'd say a courtroom lawyer. Like in England I wear the wig and all of the, you know, like the fancy old school stuff.
We have to get a picture of that.
Maybe I'll wear it to a call. But the last time I had tried to lose weight, I had done it in lockdown because the courts had closed, and all of a sudden I had like a pristine container. I was at home, I was sleeping myself, I didn't have the stress, I was, you know, I was looking after myself, and literally the minute the courts opened back up, it all went out the window. And so what you were saying about actually do this in the real world, so that you build the muscles, you build the skills that, you know, that are actually going to serve you in your life, not just in, you know, when your life isn't happening. And 100% true. And also, like, you need to be able to access all of the stuff that is coming up about like why you are where you are and why you're doing what you're doing and what you want to change. If that stuff isn't coming up, you can't problem solve it. So you need to do it in those crunch times. And it's like this idea that I had that it's, you know, it takes more energy to do this. It doesn't. You're just putting your energy in a more productive place. It's not more energy. It's just.
Oh my God. So well said. So well said.
And actually, so I've just started quite a big trial, the equivalent of kind of the last time when I gained it all back, plus lots of interest. And everything's easier. Like the actual job is easier. I am less stressed about everything. I am more able to handle all of it. So not only is it not an additional stressor, it's actually made this easier in all the spheres.
I always say, like, the weight is in the way. Like, yes, the physical weight, but it's also like the mental weight that comes with the physical weight, the emotional weight that comes with the physical weight. And when we can get that out of the way, we can access so much more flow and ease.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I was going to ask you, like, as a kind of a closing question. Of course, I have like 4 closing questions, but, and you might have just answered it. Like, if you had to just say one word of how you feel now in your life, what would it be? Would it be free? Would it be something else?
Can I give you 3?
Yes. Oh my God. Of course you can give me 3.
So free would definitely be one of them. Empowered would be another. And present would be the third. And if I had a 4th, it would just be like calm.
Music to my ears. Yes, this is what we all want and we all deserve, like more than deserve. Okay, any closing thoughts? Anything that you think like the people, the women, the moms need to hear?
Yeah, one of the things I loved was that this is all about women. Like, I mean, there's lots of stuff for men. The men are great. Like, I'm all for like a Delicious Daddy program, but like women supporting women, I just think is one of the most magical, powerful things there is. And this has been really a testament to that. Just when women come together and they understand what it's like for other women and the conditioning that we get and the kind of messages that we're given from when we're really little, when we understand that together and we come together, it's kind of amazing. So I also love that the Yummy Mummy is for women.
So too, there's so much healing in just knowing that like you're not alone and that we all, you know, are struggling with this, or a lot of us at least, and a lot of us just in the world.
Yeah, definitely. You're amazing. Thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank you for helping me to free the moms. I really can't do this alone. I really do treat this like a movement, and I'm so appreciative. And you should be so proud of yourself. It's so awesome. Thank you so much, Pippa, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
If you have any questions, pop them in the comments and I will answer them. Thanks, Pippa. Have a great day.
You too.
Hey, if you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, I would love it if you leave a rate, review, and a subscribe on whatever you're listening to this podcast in. Pretty please with a cherry on top. It would help me so much, and it would help all the other mamas out there hear this message. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. And you have to come check out the Yummy Mummy experience. It's my proven lose weight for the last time group coaching and course. Head to lauraconley.com and just click work with me. Other than that, you guys, I would love to give you a free gift. If you want your free listener only gift, go to lauraconley.com/gift. And from there, you will get your free best ever weight loss hack. So cool. The last thing I want to tell you, you guys, is I do have a free Facebook group. It's called, you guessed it, the Yummy Mummy. Lose weight for the last time, end body drama, and get food freedom. You can just search that in Facebook, or again, you can head to the show notes and you'll find the link there. All right, you guys, have the best day ever.